If you're looking for an electric that's also track ready, the Mach E GT might be the car that you're looking for. This thing is crazy. 480 horsepower, 634 pound-feet of torque, good at styling. I absolutely love this thing. But before we unpack it, I want to give Yorkdale Ford a huge shout out and a thank you for giving me access to this beauty to shoot the video for you guys today. You can check down in the description below for their contact details. You can find the build link here. If you're looking for technical walkthroughs, like how to use the Sync 4 media screen or the cluster, check down below for those walkthroughs instead. But unpacking this car, it's ridiculous. So we do have a few different options for the GT. Now, because I'm in Canada, we've only got the option for the GT Performance Edition. Down in the States, you do have the option for the regular GT or the Performance Edition here. The big difference between the two is the GT Performance Edition has an extra 34 pound-feet of torque in comparison to the regular GT, but features functionality-wise, this thing is incredible. What it can accomplish, the power that it's got, the technology. It's got a forward sensing system, reverse sensing system. It's incredible. But we do have this incredible splitter right along the very front. And one of the big benefits there is it helps to create a little bit of added downforce. So because this thing is track ready and track capable, because we've got an unbridled unlock mode inside, it essentially gets rid of the traction stability control and things like that. So this thing, track ready. But one of the cool things with that splitter, helps keep us down to the ground a little bit more. Like the style of it looks very close to what you're gonna find in the regular Mustang GT. It looks incredible. The wheels inside of the Mach E GT are fantastic. The premium version of the vehicle, so we do have our 20-inch tires there, and these things are Pirelli P0, so it's a summer-rated performance tire. So this thing really is a track-ready vehicle. From the front splitter that we have there, performance tires, like these P0s, it's essentially going to be a street-legal slick rubber, which is amazing. So definitely the type of rubber you want to have if you're taking your car onto the track. So like I said, track-ready, because we also do have these Brembo brake pads. So again, that improved handling and performance. Because yeah, this thing's an electric, but one of the benefits of having those Brembos instead is that as you go to brake, all of the weight of the vehicle's transferred from the back to the front. So slamming on your brakes if you have to, just knowing that inside of this thing, you are going to be covered there, which is fantastic. And like, it is mind-blowing. Looking at the GT Performance Edition of the vehicle, the power inside of this thing is unbelievable. Like 480 horsepower, 600 pound-feet of torque in the regular GT, which gets bumped up to 634 pound-feet of torque instead when we get into the Performance Edition of the vehicle. So it's ridiculous. Like, I can't wait to take this thing out on the road to kind of give it a little bit of a feel, but I mean, 480 horsepower with a boatload of torque, this thing is going to perform like crazy. Now, very similar to the rest of the Mach E lineup, we do have our little cutout door along the side there. Level 1 versus level 2 charging, the option for DC supercharging on top of that. There's one little caveat with supercharging. I mean, that's technically the same with all electric vehicles. You should really only take it to about 80% if you're going to be doing that DC supercharging. And then if you're not going to be taking your vehicle out on distance trips, it normally is recommended to kind of max out at like an 80 to a 90% charge as well, just so you're not putting the battery under too crazy of a load. But if you're going to be taking on a trip and you know you're leaving in, the next day or so, fill it up to 100%. But charge times for the Mach E in general are all over the place. Now, one of the cool things is that we do have our charge cable that's included with the Mach E, so it's a 20-foot cable, and that supports either level 1 or 2 charging, so the 120 or 240. So technically, could you plug this thing into a regular wall outlet? Yeah, if you've got 95 hours to wait for a full charge, versus a way quicker charge if you look at your 240, you can look at a Ford home charging station as well. So a ton of different options. And one of the amazing things is that through the Sync 4 media screen, we've got the option of doing a few things. So we can have this thing set up for preconditioning the cabin. So if you know you're going to be leaving the same time every day, or even if you want to set it up as you go, you can have this thing set up so that it automatically preconditions when you're plugged in, so that it's not wasting battery power unnecessarily. Now, on top of that, you can also set up when you're charging inside of that Sync 4 screen. So if you know you don't, well, let's say you want to go and just wait until peak electricity rates are gone, so you're off peak rates, you can schedule it in Monday through Sunday, whatever times you know. So if you know you're 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. for your off-peak rates, you can have it set up in that middle screen so it won't start charging until those times. And you can even set it up for multiple locations. So let's say if you're gonna be at work, you can charge during the day at work, you come home, not charging until 11, 3 o'clock in the morning, whatever the case may be. So it's amazing what you can do inside of that. But if you're looking for more of a walk around on how to use the Sync 4 screen, check down below. I've put together a crazy comprehensive video already. And like I said, base styling inside of this thing is amazing. We've got these great looking wheel well moldings, black highlights along the bottom rocker there as well, which follow through to the front and the back of the vehicle. And because this thing is the GT, pretty much fully loaded. Like we've got our side view mounted cameras, front camera, rear camera, so we've got that full 360 view, which looks fantastic. But inside of the GT, we do have our forward sensing system as well. So this thing does have the option for the park assist. So it can help us out with parallel and perpendicular parking. Check in the description for that walkthrough and how it works, but it's pretty dang cool. But I love it. I love the front highlights here. We've got this it's interesting the way that they've designed it. It's like a honeycomb kind of style built in, but it's like, it's interesting. It's really neat the way this thing looks. Hard right along the entire front here because we don't need to worry about cooling anything down under the hood. But the way that it looks, it's like they've done like a honeycomb style design that kind of changes the shape just depending on how you're looking at it. It's really neat. We've got our LED headlamps there. No options for fogs inside of this thing, but we've got our pony badge there and then our front facing camera on top of that. But the front end of the GT, this thing looks mean. I absolutely love it. I know, getting into the frunk of the vehicle, it's always so weird to say that, the frunk. We've got a release just to the left-hand side of our pedals there. And getting underneath the hood. So it is on hydraulics, so after you've pulled, lift up and you are set to go. And underneath this thing, similar styling to what we're gonna see in the rest of the Mach E lineup. We've got our pony badge right along the very top there and a crazy large frunk. This thing is kind of ridiculous. I'm actually gonna pull you around so you can see the cargo dimensions here, but before I do, one thing to point out, we've got a little release to the left-hand side there along the, I guess, depending on how you're looking at it. Yeah, so if you're head on like this, left side, we've got a little light with a release. And we also have our windshield wiper fluid. And like windshield wiper fluid, tires and brakes are all you really have to worry about maintaining inside of an electric. So if you aren't typically a fan of taking care of your cars, then electric might be the way that you want to go. But come and take a peek at this frunk because it's kind of crazy. So the dimensions of the frunk are going to be showing up, and as you can see there is actually quite a little bit of space, which is kind of cool. You might not be able to make it out, but we do have a little spigot along the very bottom there. So as ice melts, if you're using this thing as a cooler, we're just going to have our drainage there instead. But it is nice to know that if you do have ice in this thing, it is drainable there, which is amazing. And taking a peek along our driver's side door, so we do have our blind spot system. This is going to highlight orange if anybody's entered the blind spot on either side of the vehicle. And from there, so a few things actually. The side view mirrors are actually auto folding. So if we go to lock the vehicle, as you can see there, in they go. And one of the cool things is that on the outside of the door, we've got this 5-digit number pad. So we could use this pad if we wanted to lock the door, etc. So we can push the bottom two to lock the door. And then we've got a little button there that we can press in order to be able to pop this thing open. But look inside, look at this. GT interior looks fantastic. We'll get to that one in a second. Taking a peek along the door. We do have a few different materials for the door itself. So we've got like this leatherette along the very top. We've got a nice little metallic highlight right along the middle, and then dropping down into like a suede highlighter there as well. So a nice little highlight suede. We've got some seat memory buttons on top of that, so our base unlock and lock. 3 individual profiles there. So to remember our side view mirrors as well as our driver's seat there. So we just set it up however you'd like to. Press 1, 2, or 3, and we're set to go. We can auto fold our side view mirrors, control our side view mirrors, window up and down. We've got a little door handle release. And we've got a nice stitching, so like a nice white stitching that follows all throughout the door. It moves into the dash, and it even follows through the driver passenger seat, the center stack there as well. We've got our little Bang & Olufsen badge there, so our little sound speaker, our speaker badge, nice speaker along the door and all throughout. We do have a little storage tray there, and because this is the GT version of the Mach E, we've got our little GT scuff plate there. Looking along the driver's side seat, so we are going to be a power adjuster of the seat, so forwards, backwards, up and down. We can adjust our backrest, and then we can control our lumbar support there as well. We do have a release there. We're just going to pull that down in order to be able to adjust. Moving inside, series of other options available. We've got our windshield defroster, figure out what's going on with our running lamps, I always recommend just keeping it in the auto setting. We can increase or decrease the brightness of the cluster screen, turn traction control on or off, and then we've got our frunk release. So if we want to get under the hood, we're just going to give that a pull twice. We've got our pedals there, and then we can't make it out because, do we even have it enabled? No, it's not. So we do have our footwell lining there for different colors and things like that, which you just can't see just because of how bright it is outside right now. This is really nice. Like really, really nice. I love it. The feel of this seat is really good. Like this is the GT, very different seat than what you're going to find in the rest of the Mach E lineup. And these seats are fantastic. Super comfortable. It's like a sport bucket performance. Essentially, it's a performance seat. Like if you're taking your vehicle on the track, like this is the style seat that you'd probably want. Like it hugs the body nicely, super comfortable, good amount of bounce and cushion to it. I love it. Oh, this is nice. Oh, this is really nice. But looking at some of those highlights, so I did mention some of the nice things about the door, but as we look through, we've got this like nice diamond like weave texture that moves all the way through the lower part of the dash. We've even got like a suede highlight. So that suede that we found on the door carries through the dash all the way through the passenger side. And then that speaker cover that we've got as well, that like cloth cover, stretches all the way throughout the dash as well. It's a phenomenal design job. We've got like that micro white stitching that follows all throughout the suede as well. It is really cool. But this will just be a basic look at the steering wheel cluster, media screen. I am going to point out some highlights that are different on the GT. But if you're looking for a fuller walkthrough, you want to know how to use the cluster or use the Sync 4 media screen to connect Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, Google Maps, Apple Maps, Waze, whatever the case may be, look down in the description. Comprehensive videos you'll be able to find down there. But let's start off with the one thing. So we do have our little cluster screen. It's like a little cluster screen. It's kind of cute, but it shows all of the basic stuff that we at least need to see. Let's fire this bad boy up. So we've got two different modes. So we've either got a day or a nighttime mode. So white versus black mode looks really sharp. Our base range and things like that as well. Stick on the left-hand side is going to be for our high beams, our blinker, etc. On the right-hand side is going to give us the flexibility of controlling our front and our rear windshield wipers. Now this thing does have Ford's BlueCruise system, which is hands-free driving. Like, yeah, we've got the adaptive cruise control system, which is just your set it and forget it cruise, so it can take us to stop and go. But the BlueCruise is hands-free driving. So we don't have to worry about having our hands on the steering wheel whatsoever. Like we do have the option for our base lane keeping system, but that BlueCruise feature, it's amazing. You can drive hands-free. But here's the kicker to that. You can drive hands-free, but you still have to be awake and looking at the road. So no option if you're sleeping, the system won't work. There are cameras that watch your eyes. So if your eyes are closed, the system just won't engage, but it is amazing. We've got this as an available option. I love it. Like I said, so steering wheel, left-hand side, we do have our adaptive cruise control system. On the right-hand side, we've got a voice command prompt, volume rockers, and things like that. But I love it. I love the feel of this wheel. It is amazing. We've got that micro white gray stitching that follows all the way throughout the wheel as well. Our pony along the middle of the steering wheel on top of that. Quick horn test. That's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. All right, now, as we move over, we are push button start, same way across the entire Mach E lineup. And actually, before I do that, the seat. I do have to point the seats out again because they are so unbelievably comfortable. But one thing about the Mach E GT, the headrests are locked into place. So we don't have the option of moving them up, down, back, forwards, whatever the case may be. They're stuck in place there. But it's nice. Like I'm 6 feet tall, super comfortable. And with the seat, so we can, along the side, it is going to be power driver passenger. So with the seat all the way down, this is ridiculous. Wow, I've got like almost 7 inches of headspace inside of this thing. With the seat set up for me, like I'm 6 feet tall, so the way that I would normally have it, like this, I feel comfortable with it. And even still, like a boatload of headspace, even with this panoramic roof. Because this one does have the sunroof, but fixed into place, and it is available optionally inside of the GT trim level of the vehicle. So it is nice to know that you can get that as an option. And the reason that it's optional is because this is a track-ready vehicle. So if you're going to be taking your Mach E on the track, you might not want that sunroof there, but I mean, if you're just going to be doing it and you just love power and you get the GT, just go in knowing you have to order the sunroof optionally. So it's not available standard inside of the GT. Now this is the Sync 4 media screen inside of the Mach E. So as you can see there, we do have our built-in maps. So we do have factory navigation inside of this thing. We can easily search for addresses either by typing in. We can set up favorites. If we've got GPS coordinates, we could just type those in as well. But we could also set this thing up to connect to Android Auto, Apple CarPlay for Google Maps, Apple Maps, and Waze, which we can use throughout this middle screen. Now we do have this button along the top, which is going to get us to a series of different drive modes. So we've got our Whisper versus Engage versus Unbridled. So Unbridled essentially is going to be the unlocked version of the car. So I love it. I love Ford's explanation. It's the exhilarating drive compared to something like the Whisper. So we do a little info on the Whisper, seamless drive, nice, calm, and quiet. So if you're looking for more unlocked performance, the Unbridled is where you want to be. We've got the Unbridled Extended. So the Unbridled Extended is fantastic. I love this for track use only and not for public roads. So it essentially gets rid of the majority of these safety precautions inside of the vehicle. So traction, stability control, and things like that. So if you're looking for taking your Mach E on the track, you want to go into the Unbridled mode. Absolutely want to do it, but it is amazing. We've got our one pedal driving, which means that we only have to worry about the accelerator because we take our foot off the accelerator and it's going to slow the car down very rapidly. We've got our auto ambient light selection based off of whatever mode we're in there as well. Series of different driver assistance settings for access. We can unlock the trunk or the frunk from the inside here. And then we also do have our cameras. So I mentioned that earlier, but we've got our front facing camera, front with a front partial view, and then a full 360-degree view as well. And then hopping out of there, series of different options for phones, for driver assistance settings. We've got, oh, and here we go, the best part, departure and comfort. So if you're leaving certain times of the day, you can have it set up so that it's automatically going to turn the vehicle on, and it's going to turn on the heat, the air conditioning, whatever the case may be, to essentially precondition the cabin however you'd like it to be set up, which is amazing. But there are so many amazing things that you can do inside of this vehicle. Some base vehicle settings there. We've got the option of using our key fob to roll the windows up and down. We've got our driver assistance settings with a ton of other options that are available inside of this thing as well. Like so many different options. Up along the top, we've got this little button there. It's going to take us through our radio, phone, navigation, things like that. But the radio inside of this, like car thumping, amazing sound, first of all, amazing song, amazing band, but phenomenal sound. Like this Bang & Olufsen sound system is incredible. So a lot of different options that are available here. As you can see, we've got AM, FM, Sirius XM, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. We've got some games. We've got a sketch pad built into this thing as well. So quite a few different options available. But then as we move down, we do have dual zone climate control. We can change out our temperature here, so we can have it going to our windshield face or feet, any combination of the above. We've got our auto mode, air conditioning, volume rocker is there, but it is kind of neat because we've got our volume rocker. We can turn the audio on or off by simply pressing there. So a little button there is touch screen with a physical tactile switch instead, which is amazing. We do have heated front row seats, heated steering wheel, and then we've also got our control for the fan that we can adjust on the inside there as well. But so many amazing options that are available inside of this thing. And as we start to move down, so let me brighten you up there a little bit. There we go, that's better. All right, so down below you can see we've got a few power points. So USB, USB-C. There is a wireless charge pad there as well. So if your phone supports it, we do have that option. And then underneath here, we also do have another little storage tray. We've got 2 cup holders there. And moving down from there, probably make it out, series of the buttons. So this is going to be our rotary dial, so we can change it out, park, reverse, neutral, drive into our low gear. So typical Ford styling with this rotary dial. We do have park assist, so turning our park assist system on or off there. The vehicle can help us out with parallel or perpendicular parking. If you want to know how that system works, check in the description of the video. We've got our 4-way blinkers and then our parking brake on top of that. And then even the armrest here, it's got a GT badge right into the leather there, which looks pretty dang nice. And then lifting this thing up, we've got a little slidable tray, which does reveal a 12-volt power point. So lots of power points all over the place. We've got 2 in the front here, 2 in the back. And then moving up overhead, auto-dimming rearview mirror is going to be standard inside of this thing. We've got some base cabin control lights up overhead, typical Ford styling with our little sunglasses holder there. We've got our home link system, so garage door opener, we can program that in. We do have our visor with our vanity mirror that's built in. And then extending this thing out, it's blocking all of the sun that might be hitting our eyes. So this thing, like I said, feature style-wise is fantastic. I think Ford did a phenomenal job with all of the smaller highlights inside of the GT. But the big one is going to be the performance inside of this thing. That's really what sets it apart from the rest of the Mach E lineup. All right, so the second row of the Mach E is ridiculously spacious. Like if you've ever been in the second row of a GT, like a regular, well, it's technically the regular Mustang in general, like the EcoBoost, the convertible, etc. There's not much space in the regular Mustang compared to the Mach E. Like I'm 6 feet tall and I can actually sit upright and it's nice and comfortable. Now with me upright, it's a little bit tight. Like I've got maybe like half an inch roughly of head clearance space with me sitting fully upright and back. Now the seats in the Mach E aren't adjustable for the second row. So we can't move the seats forwards, backwards at all whatsoever. We can't recline, they're locked into place. But like I said, with me being 6 feet tall, I can still comfortably sit back here. And like I wouldn't mind going on distance trips because the seats inside of this thing really, really comfortable, which I love it. But there are a few different style seats depending on the version of the Mach E that you're in. Because this is the GT, we've got this like amazing looking weave texture all throughout that looks really, really sharp. Now, even though this is the fully loaded GT performance, we still don't have the option for second row heated seats whatsoever. So not available as of right now inside of the Mach E. I'm hoping that changes, but like I said, styling wise though is great. Comfort wise is amazing. With 2 versions of me, it'll be all right. 3 versions, so in the middle seat, it'd be like a little bit tight. So if you had full 3 versions of me, you could do it. It would just be like shoulder to shoulder, just because I'm a little bit more broad shouldered. But if you've got kids, a shorter family, shorter friends, whatever the case may be, they'll be able to fit back here, no problem. And if you do have kids, we do have the option. So we've got our anchors and tethers and things like that. So front facing, rear facing seats, not going to be an issue in this thing whatsoever. We do also have some cup holders here. So we've got a nice amount of storage on our doors there, but we do have the cup holders there, which is fantastic. And then very similar to the first row, all of the highlights of the first row are carried to the second row as well on the door. So we've got that like nice look along the middle. So we've got that nice metallic highlight moving down into like that suede part of the door as well. Nice cloth covering that Bang & Olufsen sound system as well. And then we've got that same release, but like I said, styling wise, feature wise, this is fantastic. We've got our assist handles on the driver passenger side for the first and the second row. You'll probably need it because the performance inside of this thing is like mind-blowingly good. So we've got our assist handle there. We do have a hook as well, which is kind of neat on the driver and passenger side, second row. And then we've got some base controls for some cabin lighting as well. Outside of that, we don't have options for any type of cargo netting or anything like that behind the first row, so pockets, etc. But down the armrest, we've got a base vent control and then 2 USB ports. So we've got a traditional USB as well as a USB-C. We do have the option of folding down the seats for the second row very easily, and we can do that from the inside here. No sort of release or anything like that from the trunk area. It does have to be done from the inside. And we can see we've got our top tether points there as well. So like I said, front facing, rear facing child seats, if you've got them, not going to be an issue back here. Looking at rear styling and features inside of this thing, we've got our LED sequential tail lamps there, which look fantastic. And then we've got our GT badge along the back there, just underneath our backup camera. And then from there, we've got our reverse wiper, reverse sensing system, and then that nice black highlight. But like this orange and black, the highlights there look really, really sharp. Getting into the trunk of the Mach E is also very straightforward. So we do have a little release on our key fob. We can press that twice. There's one just to the left-hand side of the steering wheel. And then just underneath the GT badge, we've got another little release there. So just button press, up she goes. But have a peek at the cargo dimensions of this thing. So unlike the regular Mustang, where you don't really have much space inside of the GT, tons of space in the, well, I guess the Mach E in general, you have a ton of space back here. Now, I pointed it out in the second row as well. You can actually fit 5 people inside of the Mach E compared to the regular Mustang. Like, I mean, if you've got 3 shorter friends or people you don't like, you could probably stick them into the second row of the regular Mustang. But inside of the Mach E, tons of space in the back, which is great. And we do have this little cargo shield that we can easily remove. So there are just some releases right along the very bottom and the top there. So just a few plastic pieces we would pull off. And then getting into the Back end here, we can fold the seat down very easily as well. But look at the difference in the depth when we've got that second row folded down. So very similar space-wise to the regular Mustang, looking at the width and the depth. But like I said, like we've got a lot more height and a lot more cargo capacity inside of this in comparison to the regular Mustang. So if sizing is a concern for you, you might want to look at the Mach E over the regular Mustang instead. Oh, a few other things to point out in the cargo area of the vehicle. Nothing off to the left-hand side, but off to the right, we do have a little light in the back here with a nice pony badge. Moving forward, we've got a 12-volt power point on top of that, and then our woofer that we're going to find just because this is the upgraded Bang & Olufsen sound system. Now, this is just going to be the regular cloth back that we're going to find, carpet back, I should say, for the cover here. We do have the option for a thermoplastic rubber tray as well, directly from the factory, and that's regardless of whether we're looking at the Select or this fully loaded GT instead. But this thing, fully removable, and one of the cool things, we can also kind of prop it up here if we want to get access to the charger. And then we've also got our inflator kit off to the left-hand side. So you're not going to find a spare tire inside of the Mach E whatsoever. And like especially looking at the GT, because this thing is a performance-ready vehicle, so you don't want all that extra weight kind of weighing the vehicle down if you're going to be taking this bad boy on a track. When you just want to like open it up, because I know the performance that this thing's capable of, so to not use the true performance of this vehicle, like, it's hard. It is very hard to do. Oh, this is nuts. So obviously just like going regular stop and go traffic, like you just feel like you want to go faster. Like I feel like Ricky Bobby right now. Like, I want to go fast. So good. So good. All right, and performance! It is fractions of a second to get to to road speed. So road speed right now is 50. I'm gonna have to throw on so one of the cool things is that we've got our adaptive cruise control system. So I'm setting it at 50 right now. So it's at 50 because I think like this car in general is trouble in the sense that like it is so incredibly powerful. It just launches. Like it's so good. So many different options for the Mach E in general. You've got the Select, the GT, the California Route 1, and then what did I miss? The Premium. How did I miss the Premium? And then the Premium, but looking at it power-wise, the GT is where you're gonna wanna be if you're looking for a car with like crazy performance. Watch this. Oh my God. What? Oh my God. That was so good. If you've ever been like on a roller coaster and it shot you from like 0 to 100, that is what it felt like. Oh my God, that was so good. All right, and because we've got the performance here, I have to do it. So good. And like you just know this thing wants to go even more, which like I'm gonna respect the lane as well. I'm not going fast enough, so I'm gonna get out of this guy's way. But you can just tell this thing just wants to go fast. Like it just does. Oh, that is really nice. I'm like, do you try like the hands? This is so cool. Oh, I love it. It's like, I still don't want to keep my hands on the steering wheel, but just knowing that you don't have to. And then safety-wise, so I've got the speed set at 100. Car in front of me kind of cut in, and it's going to slow me down. It's slowed me down to 97, 98, and then it should pick me back up to that speed again. Oh, this is cool. I'm like a child right now. This is so good. I want to do more of the stop and go though, because that was really, really nice. Oh, Ford. Oh, this is impressive. This is impressive. I mean, I'm obviously in the unbridled mode, so that kind of makes sense, but I love it. Oh, this is good. And the seat is like way more comfortable than I was expecting it was going to be. It's really, really nice. I think the only thing, like, missing a head-up display, but like outside of that, this thing is incredible. Performance. This is so good. This is like mind-blowingly incredible performance. Oh. Oh. All right. I'm gonna give this person in front of me like more than enough space. I just have a feeling that this is gonna be nuts. Again, I'm gonna open it up like a tiny little bit. Oh, this is gonna be good. Okay. And everybody's going probably 100 or faster. Oh. This is so good. I need to get one of these things on a track. If anybody has a connection with Ford, or if you've got a GT and you are up for shooting a video together, just reach out to me. I would love to be able to get this thing on a track. Like, let's do this. This is amazing. Unbelievable. Like, unbelievable performance. Well, folks, that was a look at the Mustang Mach E GT. What did you think? I think this thing is ridiculous. Like, the performance inside of this thing is just like, it's mind-blowing, like absolutely mind-blowing. But what did you think? If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your social networks, and subscribe to the channel. I put out all sorts of crazy content. And if you've got a unique car, something that's a little bit different, whether you're at a dealership or if you've got a private collection that you want to see immortalized and put onto the web, I can absolutely help you out with that one. So get in touch. All of my contact info down below in the description and in the About section of my profile and on the website as well. But like I said, if you enjoyed this video, thumbs up, share it with your social networks, and until I see you next time, take care. It's kind of ridiculous. Like, when I say ridiculous, like 480